So we'll pick back up in Bhagavad Gita. Let's start with the Gita Dhyanam. So do we have the page?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a book behind
In the Living Gita, if anyone joining us online has, it's IX. It's in the introductions, Roman numeral 9. Om. We can repeat together. Om. O Bhagavad Gita, by which Arjuna was illumined by Lord Krishna himself, and which was composed of 18 chapters within the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa. O Divine Mother, destroyer of rebirth, who showers the nectar of oneness on us. O Bhagavad Gita, my affectionate mother, on thee I meditate. All the Upanishads are the cows. The milker is the cowherd boy, Krishna. Arjuna is the calf. People of purified intellect are the drinkers, and the milk is the supreme nectar of the Gita. My salutations to the Lord, who is the source of supreme bliss, whose grace makes the mute eloquent and the crippled cross mountains. Hari-Om Tat Sat. So Krishna is called Jagat Guru. Today's Guru Purnima. We'll celebrate Guru Purnima together tonight. Puja this evening is an offering to the Guru. Our traditional way, the traditional way that we're given to offer. But really, puja, offering, is something that's done by the individual in the heart. So, the fact that we're in ashram, that we have an interest in these highest truths, indicates that Guru has come into our life. It's a switch, and you have a choice at this point. You have a choice now. And the choice now is, do you follow the Guru or do you not? It's a very simple choice in a way. It's talked about today in Sloka 41 in Bhagavad Gita, in this choice. So Guru has a very simple meaning, from darkness to light. It just means that. From ignorance to wisdom. From not knowing who we are, why we're here, not having a purpose in our life, to knowing who we are, why we're here, and what is the purpose of this life. And it's really this. So it's literally darkness to light, like this. It's a path that each of us are walking, each of us are evolving. Could we say as souls? Kind of, we can say that. It's not really that, but it seems like that. So we can work with it, that we're evolving as souls. Are we evolving as persons? Well, we're not really the person. So we could say that the person is evolving in knowledge of soul, something like this, which might be a bit closer to the mark. The person is in the process of understanding its own non-existence and surrendering to the super soul. We're in the process of becoming free. We're in the process of finding where that which we have sought all of these births actually is, and coming back into union with it. This is this evolution. And through grace, and only when we ask, this Guru principle will appear for us in some way. Yeah. And so it's mysterious in a way, but it's also it's amazing that what we ask for, what we want most, will actually appear in our lives, including this, including wisdom and a path and all of this. So today, Guru Purnima is the one day a year, based on lunar cycles and all of this, the one day a year where the Guru Shakti is said to be the strongest, where the presence of the Guru is said to be the strongest. And also, because of that, and because of us still being caught up in some way, shape, or form, if we are wanting to be unbound, then it's the day of worship of the Guru as well. So it's the day of gratitude towards Guru, but awareness of Guru. Gratitude is a way to be aware. So there are other ways as well, but gratitude is a great one. Gratitude is a great one, right? So if you really are in a state of gratitude, then you're very aware of what it is that you have gratitude for. So in this way, devotion and gratitude are very helpful. So it's a day for us, for everyone joining as well, where we can relate however we relate to Guru. By the way, for a little clarification, these days, in this time, it seems like Satguru is referring to a person, but it doesn't. The name was misappropriated, in fact, for a person. It's not correct. It's not correct. Satguru means the Guru in truth. Satguru is always inside, never outside. Satguru is the Guru within, the highest Guru. Brahman, the absolute, this reading that we just took, the Guru Stotrams. But then, our own Guru, if we see the light purely, absolutely, or that Guru's Guru, we might choose to call Satguru. So we choose, for example, in the lineage to call Swami Shivananda Satguru. But that's not referring to Swami Shivananda, that form there. It's referring to Brahman, that absolute, who we actually have been able to touch through the teachings of and the support of that purified person, that saint. So in the same way, the followers of Satguru, the ones called Satguru, would say that. But that doesn't mean, it's just like Christ. When we say the word Christ, people think that refers to one person, but absolutely not. Christ is the king. Christ is Atman. That's exactly what Christ means. Christ is the super soul. The king, not something that some people anoint as king. The king of the universe, Atman. Okay, so we can resume in Bhagavad Gita this morning, but we just needed to talk a little bit about this special day. It's a very special day, very special opportunity because of the energy. And also, every moment is special if you choose to do something special with it. So, in Sanatana Dharma, what's called Hinduism in the West, this ancient system that blossomed in India, which is not of India, it's of that absolute. And through grace, it was kept alive in India through this time. In Sanatana Dharma, if we look through all of India, we'll see there's some sort of religious, spiritual celebration every day. Is that correct, Mataji?
Yes. Sanatana Dharma means eternal. Eternal. So it has stood the test of time. All sorts from different.
And so somehow through grace, we're given, actually if we want to look at the Vedic calendar, we'll see every day there will be some special meaning for the day. And really there's some special meaning for every moment. If we choose. If we choose. You can glorify every moment. And we can learn to glorify it with pure awareness, with love, with compassion, with kindness, with gratitude. We can choose to glorify it. Oh, okay. So let's take a different commentary on, we read yesterday 40, and we moved from Sankhya Yoga into, we moved from Sankhya into Yoga. Please forgive. We moved from Sankhya wisdom, the statements of wisdom, into Yoga, which is the means to the attainment of the wisdom, the means to integration of the wisdom, the means to self-knowledge. Mm. So, and we said these transitional slokas, 39, 40, 41, I'll just read the three again. Actually, we didn't read 41, so we'll read that the first time this morning, and then we can discuss. I picked up Holy Geeta from Swami Chinmayananda, which is also quite a profound translation. 39, that which has been taught to thee is wisdom concerning Sankhya, nature of truth. Now listen to the wisdom concerning yoga, the science of its attainment. Having known which, O Partha, you shall cast off the bonds of action. We all have these times where we don't want to act. We get locked up, we get stuck. We're afraid of acting, we consider. So, and therefore we'll feel we want to run away, that action is somehow binding us. And that's what we were experiencing with Arjuna in chapter 1. But here, when it said bonds of action, it doesn't mean the bondage of having to act. It means the freedom to act. To be free of this bondage, we can say, of the actor. Krishna does also say that we're not actually the actor. That all of the action is being done by Krishna. So, or the absolute, we could say like that. So cast off the bonds of action. 40. In this, and casting off the bonds of action, the yoga is karma yoga. So he'll start by teaching karma yoga. And this, and some will translate it as meaning this in all of yoga, and some will say specifically karma yoga. In this, there is no loss of effort, nor is there any harm, production of contrary results. Even a little of this knowledge, even a little practice of the yoga protects one from the great fear. What's the great fear?
Death.
Death. So yesterday, the translation we read, the word great wasn't there. So Swami Chinmayananda has seen something in which he's added it. So the great fear, the fear of death. So can you see that? Can you see that if you don't? So maybe here you're at the point where intellectually you're curious, or maybe you see intellectually with this discernment, discrimination, that yes, it is true that I'm not this body, but also it seems like I am, and I'm caught up in the notion that I am. Maybe you're there. So wherever we are, we can relate that if we were integrated in knowledge, whether it's true or not, by the way, if we were integrated in knowledge that we're not this body, then what of this fear of death? This great fear.
Non-existent.
Kalyani? Then what of this great fear? If you know completely and absolutely without doubt that you are not the body and that you do not die, what of this fear of death? Yeah, what fear of death? Oh. So even a little of this yoga, even a little of this coming to imbibe in this wisdom protects one from the great fear. And then the next sutra we'll pick up from here. Hear, O joy of the Kurus. Krishna has these loving names for Arjuna, upbraiding him, uplifting him with these names, in the same way that Uma Devi might uplift. There is but a single-pointed determination. Many-branched and endless are the thoughts of the irresolute. 41. If your mind, this will sound a little different, it's just saying the same. If your mind is unsteady and wandering, many-branched and endless are the thoughts and choices. Is it correct?
Yeah.
It seems like so many problems, so many opportunities, so many things to do, so much, and we get, right? When your mind is clear and one-pointed, there's only one decision.
Liberation.
And the decision will be obvious.
Karma.
So he's extolling yoga still. He's extolling karma yoga, but yoga still. And he's pointing out that in the world, in the worldly life, it seems like there's so much here. And it seems like our happiness, which is all we really want, relies upon us picking the right stuff, the right partner, the right job, the right place to live, the right friends, the right political party, the right religion, the right course of action for my child, the right diet. It gets so much more complicated these days. The right way to care for me. The right way to be treated. So it seems like there's so much, right? And it seems like everything will have something to do with whether I end up happy or not.
Yeah.
Is it so?
Very true.
It seems like it.
Okay.
It seems like it. And then, of course, if we're not happy, how much time do we spend in looking at our partnership, our child, our friends, our place of living, our job? How much time do we spend looking back at all of these things, saying, which of these do I have to change in order to be happy?
70,000 bucks a day.
Yeah.
And diet. Which food do I need to put out of my diet because I'm getting fat and I'm eating too much of something or not enough of something else? Let's see what Google Swami has to say about this. So what should I change? You see, 70,000 thoughts a day. Happiness is inside. And all I have to do is stop the thoughts. One choice. Not countless. One choice. Yeah. Peace Pilgram would say everything that we do should lead towards peace. If not, don't do it. She's not talking about this imagined happiness that's out there somewhere or other. She's talking about when we become a scientist and we say, if I get angry, there's no peace. If I judge, there's no peace. If I hate, there's no peace. If I even get disturbed in a relationship, there's no peace. So, we can say like this, or we could say, what Krishna says is true. There's only the self. So, what's my number one goal? To know the self. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it seems like countless. And it doesn't mean that I don't still do. But it does mean, if this becomes the case, that I don't do in order to attain to something anymore. Right? That I do for the sake of doing. or I do what's right and beneficial, or I do what Krishna says to do. However we say, what Guru says to do. Here's what Swami Chinmayananda says. In Karma Yoga, which the Lord is now explaining, even the highest achievement of self-realization is possible, because here the man works with one resolute determination, with a single pointed mind. So one goal. It's at this point, Kartikeya, that I asked you if you would please read that one more time for us. This wisdom from Swami Jnanamata. There's a reason it's there. So, but we can easily
practical wisdom, see nothing, look at nothing but your goal ever shining before you.
Stop there. That's good, thank you. That's good, thank you. That's good. Do we understand that means one pointed mind? Oh, okay. Those who perform actions while laboring under endless desires for results get their inner personality disintegrated. So the inner person is much more powerful for us than the outer person is. The outer person is what we do, what we say, etc. And that has impact on everyone. But what we're actually dealing with is the inner person. What are our wants and needs? We might not talk with them out loud outside. Right? We might have learned duplicity very well. Swami had learned it. Duplicitous action. Right? To think one thing and say and do another. Why? In order to get the thing that's desired. So, as children, we learn this. We learn this, that we have the strong will to get what we want. Mommy says no. But we still want it. And we're very crafty. This is part of what mothers need to be watching for. I was pretty good at gaming the system.
Yeah. I would just take the
So I learned to say or do what they wanted to hear or see in order to get what I wanted to have. So, and I share myself as an open book. So mothers, remember this. Duplicitous action. So the inner person is not the same as the outer person. The outer person is a manifestation of the inner person. But the inner person is what we're really dealing with. What we want, what we need, all of this, how we want people to treat us, and all that stuff exists in the inner person, What do we think? The intellect, the state of the intellect. Pure or not pure. Right? The identification, the ego. Who am I? I may not tell people what I think I am when I speak outside, but inside I've got some identity in it, right? And then the memories and all of this. So that's the inner person. And the inner person becomes disintegrated. Does that make sense? Scattered, disintegrated, no clarity in this inner person. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I pretend like I do. I'm unhappy. I pretend to be happy. Right? So completely disintegrated and no happiness there. And union with the many. Union with the billions. Whatever comes along, we'll explore union with it. Do I want to be with it? Do I want to have it? Do I not want to have it? So completely disintegrated. Those who perform actions while laboring under endless desires for results get their personality disintegrated. Right? And not knowing what to do, where to go. we've done something for a while, it seems to work great, but happiness didn't come, and then all these problems came, right? I had this business or this job, or this is our situation, isn't it? And I work at it, become successful, but I just end up with more problems. So disintegrated. With a shattered 1,000-pronged mind. With a shattered 1,000-pronged mind. And there's even a frantic nature that can come with this. Just looking out for that problem or that good thing. They are not able to consistently apply themselves to any line of action. Therefore, their endeavors invariably end in disastrous failures. In this stanza lies the secret of this Sanatana Dharma success, which is briefly hinted at in hasty words. With a single pointed mind, if an individual can entertain any single resolute determination and an action consistently directed towards its success, achievement must certainly result. But invariably, man, when victimized by his ego, entertains hundreds of desires that are often mutually contradictory, and therefore he comes to play upon the fields with an impoverished and exhausted mental strength. This is psychologically what we call self-cancellation of thoughts, where this inner thought environment becomes one of the thoughts canceling each other. So desire, and then the counter thought about, is that really what I want? Like that, right? And just shut down, stop. Stop. No comprehension, no understanding whatsoever of the power of thought at that point. Right? Of course, this self-cancellation in the inner person will have the same effect outside. Life will seem aimless. Experiences will never go anywhere.
Yeah, I never will be able to get that. I'll never be able to do that.
Oh. When this activity comes to plague the mental zone, it exhausts all of the potentialities of man and loots away all of his chances of success. So, thought power. Thought power, right? Well, that's our sloka for today. It's a good one for contemplation. It speaks of really, again, the choice that we have. As long as we live life for ourselves, and we do for ourselves, it will remain like this. Because nothing will satisfy us. And so it has to be. And everything's changing. It's constantly changing. So it has to be. Even if you get what you wanted, this was the dilemma that I was dealing with in the worldly life. I had the ability to focus the mind and get what I wanted. So people would call me a visionary. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but it means to see one goal is to stay focused on that goal and follow it through. And so I could be successful, but not really. Not really, because success, if you look at it from an inner standpoint, it has to be satisfaction. Right? It has to be. Otherwise, we can be successful in whatever goal we set, but then we get it, and it wasn't actually what we wanted. Because what we really wanted was just happiness. It was just fulfillment. It was just contentment all along. And so, if we live for our little self, this is the way that it goes. This is this principle of yoga. And yoga, the science, is affording us, giving us the opportunity to turn it around. And that's the four paths to turn it around. No longer shall I live for myself, I shall live for my capital S. So I shall live for the Lord. No longer shall I be concerned about me getting what I want and taking it to mean this is what is needed. I shall serve humanity. I shall serve the Lord, whatever it is. So this is the principle of karma yoga. Really. Okay. So we'll close this morning. Okay. Page 174. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvairukmiva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvairukmiva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvairukmiva Bandhanan Mritor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makashi Dukhabhag Bhave Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchidananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Bolo Sakuru Shivananda Maharaj ki Jai. Bolo Sakuru Saraswati Mani ki Jai. Saraswati.